If you're in the beauty industry, you're going to want to keep listening. Welcome to Salon After Hours, where the tips are on trend, the gossip is hot, and the advice is cutting edge. Grab your tea because we are about to spill it. Hi there, it is Brianna once again, and we are on an episode of Salon Owning with a very amazing salon owner in Pleasanton. You're about to meet her. Her name is Roni. There's Michaela here and Danielle. Let's go around and introduce ourselves and let's get rolling.
All right, I'm Danielle, the social media manager.
I'm Michaela, the content creator.
And I'm Roni, the guest for today.
And welcome to
Salon After Hours.
Welcome to Salon After Hours. Welcome to our podcast. First, we did want to acknowledge our new podcast room.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So luxurious.
We did get a little makeover of our salon, or not our salon, of our podcast room. So if you guys didn't notice, now you know our beautiful little background and everything. So we're very excited about that. But we did want to obviously say welcome and give you a chance to introduce yourself, who you are, give us some details about you, your past, your experience, where you're at, and your salon.
Well, thank you. So I'm Roni. That's Veronica for short. Salon is located in Pleasanton, California. It's called Sage+Oak Salon. And it's kind of downtown, on the corner of downtown, kind of by your esthetician, I think, location.
Yeah, it's right off Main Street.
Oh, it's right there?
Right behind Compass.
Nice.
I walk down there a lot.
Yeah,
I'm
you
right by
would have.
Compass.
You would have passed it.
yeah,
She would have.
probably, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah.
I'll check it out.
So, yeah, come by anytime. And yeah, so we've been there 3 years and I love it. So it's fun. And I'm sure we'll get into more details as we chit chat.
And shout out your salon on Instagram. What's your Instagram for this salon?
Oh, the salon is sageandoak.salon.
Awesome.
Perfect.
I like
Sage and
that.
Oak
Easy
dot
to
salon.
remember.
Yeah. That's always hard finding like what's the handle. You want it close to your domain, but it's not always available or you have like something random. It doesn't flow. But yeah.
It's almost never available. I feel like people just take them and then just like ghost the account.
Yeah, sometimes for sure.
I know, right?
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
But give us a little background to kind of how you started into this industry. Did you start off, as a stylist? Are you still behind the chair? Are you just the owner? Give us some more of those details.
Definitely. Who remembers Yellow Pages? No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I did not start during that time, but close to it. I started doing hair in 2011, I believe 2011. And I started in the Valley, which is the Modesto area, went to beauty school. My first year out there, I knew I didn't want to be stuck in the Valley. Nothing against the Valley. It's great. But as a hairstylist, your income is your client. So I knew I wanted to kind of travel and do things. And I worked my way out to the Bay Area and I've been here ever since. I love it. It's great. But what's different with me is after beauty school, I went straight rental with no clients, no nothing. I cocktail waitress on the weekends to pay my rent. I nannied to pay like my bills. I do not recommend it, but I built my clientele in a year at the first salon I was at.
Congratulations.
So,
That's huge.
That was before social media.
Wow.
Like,
Oh, wow.
I had no
that's hard.
Facebook, none of that. I mean, there was Facebook, but I wasn't on there. But it was word of mouth. And back then you would go to a salon that had like Yellow Pages or advertised for you, even as a renter. And I did that for a year. And then I moved out to the Bay Area, built my clientele again in less than a year. And I was fully booked in less than a year at the salon out here.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
did that
What
for
do
a
you
while.
think would be your secret sauce to that?
I think it's just how you treat people, honestly.
Yep.
Customer service, how you treat them. They need to feel valued. They come back, they refer people. And being in a good environment, like clients want to walk in and feel good. So being in a salon that makes them feel that way, because they don't know you're a renter. They don't understand that, especially back then. Social media now, people are a little more educated on like rental, commission, that stuff. But back then, you just worked at a salon. And clients called salons back then. You weren't, even as a renter, you didn't give them your personal number. You just called the salon. So, but it's keeping the relationship alive and checking in with them, maybe remembering one detail about them and they remember that. And
Yeah.
that's how I think I built fast, was just the connection and making people feel heard and
Cared for.
Absolutely. That's amazing actually. You really know what it's like to go through the trenches. Then I mean,
We all do.
yeah. I'm blown. I never knew that about you. That's
Yeah, we
really
don't talk about
awesome.
that. You don't talk about that. That stuff's boring to talk about on like social media and this. Like, no one wants to hear that.
But it's also inspiring.
I think
is,
so.
yeah.
I think it's so
It's your
inspiring.
backstory.
You know, you started in the Valley, and in 1 year, I mean, that's hard work right there. And then coming to the Bay,
I went full rental at 19.
yeah,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Oh my gosh.
You opened a salon early 20s. So
23.
yeah,
23.
super young.
But
Yeah.
I feel like that means we have the same type of hustle.
Oh,
And
you have to
that's-
hustle. Oh, yeah. If I sat all day and someone walked in at 6 p.m., I did their full color at 6 p.m. There was sometimes I'd leave the salon at 10 p.m., 11 p.m. That's not really the culture now, but that's how it was when I started. It's different.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good key point for anybody that's new in the industry, that whatever you put into this industry is what you will receive.
Oh, yeah.
And so I do feel like, you know, the generations now don't have as much drive as we did back then. They won't stay at 6 p.m. for their first walk-in of the day to get it done where we would have. And, you know, I feel like that's what helped build our client bases too, is we didn't turn anything away. And so I think nowadays they're a little more spoiled.
Well, social media changed everything, right? Even relations. That's how I met you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I probably would have met you beforehand just because it's such a small community.
Yes.
Another thing too, that education based with being a new stylist. I would fly to New York 3-4 times a year to go to education classes and LA and wherever I can take a class that, I don't know, is exciting and it sparked my interest. I would go, but I would meet other people.
Yeah.
So I know people all over because our industry is huge,
Networking.
but so small at the same time. Like
Yes.
everyone knows everybody and you cannot burn bridges.
No,
So-
never burn a bridge. That's one thing. All the salons I have left, I've always left on a good
Yep.
note.
Yep.
Even if it was more sad because it was friendships, which was hard, and that's different. But I always left on a good note because you never know if you would ever go back or if you guys somehow align in a different way.
Yeah, 100%. Our industry is huge, but so small. Everyone's connected. And that's one thing I liked about our industry and which led me to ownership, which I knew I didn't want to just be a hairstylist forever. I wanted to own a salon that facilitated other women stylists, everybody, not just one person. We're just here at a table of women, so that just came out. But just I wanted to facilitate an environment where very strong individuals can shine and not feel threatened or have to feel hush hush if they want to open a salon or start a hair care line or start a new business. I want them to work in a salon where they can grow and feel supported by the owner. I was lucky to have that, and I think it really helps lay a good foundation, you know, for your future. And so for me as a stylist growing, I wanted to own a salon that did that for others. So and there is competition. Okay, there is, people are like, oh no, don't compete, but there's different of healthy competition to make you a better person, a better stylist with yourself, and then there's like mean competition. The mean competition's ugly. I don't got room for
Very
that.
comparative.
Yeah,
Like to a T.
it steals joy.
It does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I'm not there for. But I wanted a salon environment where girls, stylists, uplift each other. My salon is all girls, so I'm surrounded by them. I don't have that yet. Hopefully, we get some more in there. But we're just, I don't know, all with each other, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's start like at the beginning. So did you always know that you wanted to be in the industry, be a stylist, be an owner? Was that always something that you had for your future?
I always knew I wanted to be in the beauty industry, even at a young age. Hair, I really liked wedding dresses. I like to design wedding dresses, but I went hair, always loved hair. I did competitive gymnastics up until I got into a salon, and I would always do the hair for everybody. I just loved it. Owning a salon, I want to say yes, I always wanted to own a salon, but in my mid to early 20s, I decided I didn't want to own a salon actually because I think it was imposter syndrome, even though that word isn't really a thing.
Oh no, it is.
I
Oh,
didn't
it is.
feel
It's a
Talked
thing.
about imposter syndrome.
I just
That episode's coming.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I knew enough to lead others at 22, right? But hindsight, you do. You may not be able to lead certain people, but you do know enough to lead others. Hindsight, right?
Yeah.
So I knew I wanted to own a salon, but that kind of faded. So yes, young, wanted to do hair, own a salon, and then I kind of stepped away from that and went more education, and then went back to the salon development and all of that.
And what made you switch from going to like, oh, I'm not really sure if that's, you know, in my future, to being like, okay, let's do it, you know, and now you've owned a salon for 3 years now? Yeah.
So I was 21, 22, I think just immature, developing, didn't really know what's going on, moving around, all the things. And then something clicked. I don't know what it was. I'm like, you know what? I do want to own a salon. I want to see if I can do it. You know, I love doing hair. I love what I do now, but I don't always want to be behind the chair. I don't want to be behind the chair 40 hours a week in my 40s and 50s and 60s. Nothing against that, but our industry is physically demanding.
Yeah.
And I do like mentoring and helping others. Like I am naturally like, I gravitate towards helping people or being there for people. And so I thought being a salon owner would be awesome. And I was lucky enough to have one really good salon owner that did mentor me. And I wanted to do that also. So at 23, I met with 2 mentors and we built my business plan, you know, worked on savings. I didn't want to do it with debt. So I worked on savings and just kept focusing on my business plan. And then the time came where I had to put a stake in the ground. My mentors were like, yeah, put a stake in the ground. You got to open somewhere. You got to do something. And that was scary.
Yeah.
And so I started looking at properties. It took me just over 2 years to find where I'm at right now.
Wow.
Which isn't even like, you've been there. It's like not amazing, but it's a stake in the ground. It's just getting started. Because I was hemming and hawing a little bit because I wanted this amazing champagne budget, right? On a realistic beer budget. So it's like, you know, I wanted this amazing vaulted ceilings and like natural lighting, brick. I wanted all of this. And my mentors were like, let's humble you a little bit. You know, put the stake in the ground and you can grow to that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
How long was that like process of you beginning the idea of like, I want to open the salon to the actual stake in the ground? How long was like that process?
About 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that really puts it in perspective.
5
like,
years.
There's
for me,
so
like-
much time of building and saving and
Yeah.
Okay,
Or
cool.
just getting the right area, like where I wanted to open, the doors weren't opening. I wanted to open in Dublin. Just throw that out there. I wanted to open in Dublin. Just I felt like there wasn't what I wanted in that area. Pleasanton has a lot of salons, right? But the doors kept opening in Pleasanton and I kept walking away trying to find somewhere in Dublin and nothing was opening up in Dublin. And
That's interesting.
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah. Well, that's where I was working before. So I was there for 10 years. I knew people there.
Yeah, you were comfortable. You're like,
Yeah.
we need a really great salon there.
I mean,
but
if
you know
you-
what? I think you chose right.
But
I
at the
think,
top of your head, can you think of like a salon, not shade, no shade, but like in Pleasanton, there's 925. There's, you know, a lot of good salons in Pleasanton. There's a lot of good salons in Livermore a stylist would work at if we were stylists, right? When I think of Dublin and certain areas, maybe because I was plugged into Dublin, I worked there for 10 years. There was nowhere else I would want to work. There's good salons there. There's nothing wrong, but there's no growth salons that I want to work at.
but you know what I think Dublin lacks is a downtown.
That's
Very
what
true.
I was just going to
Dublin
say.
lacks
Yeah.
a downtown. So I've, you know, opened 5 salons and I look at every area and I, you know, I go through all my surrounding areas, which and whoever isn't familiar with our area, Pleasanton to Dublin is probably how many minutes away?
Like a minute or two. Not, I mean, it's not connected, but they're connected by a street.
Yeah, but it's very close. And Dublin just didn't have a main street, doesn't have a downtown area, and I think that's what lacks it. And I actually, as a business perspective, in my opinion, I think you chose right to go to Pleasanton.
Thank you.
Even if there's a million salons.
Someone else chose that for me. I just went through the doors.
I love that.
Yeah, but no, Pleasanton, the salon I was at was a phenomenal salon. I loved it. It was just, I wanted to open my own salon, right? And that's
Absolutely.
the salon I would want to work at if I was in Dublin, but there was nowhere else. And we were technically downtown Dublin, but like you said, there's no Dublin. They're downtown.
Yeah,
Not
does that
really.
actually even exist?
They have, no, it's where their downtown's supposed to be in the future.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Dublin Boulevard.
I live in Dublin.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that there's
Where Three Sheets is at. I think Three Sheets still around actually.
I
What is
don't
that?
even
Three
know.
Sheets is a bar.
I have
don't know.
no idea.
But I mean, I feel like you chose right because, like, in
Thanks.
Pleasanton, I feel like there's like 150 salons. You know, so it doesn't really matter about saturation. It's what sets you apart. You know.
Yeah.
And that's another thing you learn with time, right? It doesn't, Starbucks,
I know.
literally on the same street, but they're all busy. I mean, that's not a good comparison, but
Inklings.
yeah, but there's a lot of businesses, but it's what attracts that, right? You and I own a salon in Pleasanton. We attract different people.
Correct.
We get along. There's, you know, I don't know.
There's plenty of clients to go around.
Oh my
I
gosh, of
think,
course.
you
And they
know,
travel.
Yeah, and I think that like not to talk shade either, but I think that the more seasoned owners that have been in it longer are like a little more like competitive in a negative way sometimes.
So that's how we started. When you started doing hair, that's how it
Yeah.
was back then.
But now we've evolved so much that actually like we have sat down and talked before. That's actually that's how I met you, is you hosted a salon owning event at her salon, and a bunch of us in Pleasanton
There was like
went.
13 salon owners.
Yeah, and it
That's
was
awesome.
amazing. Yeah, it was so amazing. And that's how I actually met Roni. And so it's not like we're like working together, like because we own the salons together, but it's actually nice to sit there and talk to people that can relate to us on so many things. I think that was just something that I really took away
That's
from
super
that class.
important for me too. And back then, Nicole Pisani was our rep, right? And she knew that about me. Like she knew that was important for me. And I offered to host because I feel like it's important for salon owners to have a community, because someone can understand what you're going through, any other business owner, but they really don't understand our industry. I'm not saying we're a unicorn, but every industry and field has their own set of struggles and whatnot, right? So I think salon owners coming together and communicating and growing, I think it just makes the industry that much more better, or I don't know, it's evolving, right?
Yeah.
I agree, because I do also think that some of the hurdles that we go through as salon owners, sometimes you feel like alone and you're like, oh my gosh, is down the street, is their salon going through this too? I mean, it's just nice to be able to like open up and talk to like-minded owners. And that's what I took out of that, is having all those 13 owners all in the same area in downtown Pleasanton, and we all got to like
Livermore, Pleasanton,
yeah,
and San Ramon, I think.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say Dublin, yeah, San Ramon.
Yeah.
There was like so many of us, and it was actually nice to like talk to people that could relate to us on
Yeah, we got
subjects.
vulnerable numbers, and no one felt awkward because we're all going through the same thing. But you can't talk like that with just a commission stylist that hasn't gone through what we've gone through, or a rental stylist yet. Eventually they may, right?
Yeah.
And that would be amazing. Like I would love that for them, but it is a different beast.
It is.
So, and for me being a new owner at that point, I wasn't open yet. I was still like white walls and I think mirrors maybe on the wall. Maybe it was just a white room. Hearing everyone's journey in that, like, what they're going through was really cool as a new owner.
Yeah.
Because you can learn. Literally, like having all those minds together as one is going to create an amazing collaboration, rather having it like be individual and like pointing at the other. Like
there's some
creating
powerful
competition.
minds in that room. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sitting here with like
Fun.
people I look up to. I'm like, this is exciting.
Yeah, same. And I feel like, you said something earlier coming into as a salon owner, it's because you didn't want to like maybe work behind the chair as much. But like, can you agree that salon owning doesn't stop 24 hours a day? Like for me, besides on Sundays, I'm on the clock Monday through Saturday, like 8 a.m. to midnight.
Yeah.
I feel like,
Everything, back end, all the things you don't see.
and we service our clients because we both have a clientele.
And I love doing hair, and I still see myself doing hair till the day I die, right?
Same.
But because I love what I do. I legit love I cried in beauty school when I got my kit. Like I love what I do with a passion, and I hope people can see it and feel it. But at the same time, I do love owning a salon too, even though there are times I cry, not happy tears, because, there's some struggles. It's not the easiest. I mean, I don't have what you have for sure, but it's different. But it's
the same.
Yeah.
It's really the same.
Yeah, you don't stop.
Yeah, you don't stop.
Like I just went on maternity leave, and every single day plugged in, just checking in,
Same.
doing things.
Yeah. That's actually a fun fact is, how old is your baby now?
3.5 months.
Yep. And mine just turned 5 months, my son. So I feel like we're
boy.
like, in the thick of it. So 2 under 2 as well is fun.
I don't know how you do it.
It's a lot, and I feel like, so I would like to get your perspective. So owning, you're going on year 3, you have a baby. How did that change? Or like, what are some like advice that you could give to someone that is thinking about owning a salon? And obviously they're going to grow, maybe have kids one day. Like, is there anything that you feel like helped you through your transition of becoming a mom and being a salon owner?
Having mentors, having a coach to kind of hold you down when you're down, to kind of like help you when you're down. Also too, just making sure, I don't want to always bring numbers up, but that is the lifeline of your business is numbers. I mean, life is not about money. Life is not about any of that, but that does keep your doors open, right? So being in tune with your numbers and knowing your numbers ins and outs, like everything, but also making sure like you're on payroll to be able to take time, you know, to leave and all of that, like that back end side on business, like the back end side of business of like as an owner, making sure you're taken care of. So you don't have the daily stress of being in the salon, if that makes sense. So like if you want to have kids and own a salon, plan to take time off, but do it in a way where you can also get paid. So you're not stressed to come back to work behind the chair fast. You know, you're not only taking 4 weeks off.
How did that happen for you? Like,
I'm an employee of my business, so I pay myself as an employee, and you know, you get maternity leave, paid family leave, you get all of that, and paying yourself properly. Talk to your CPA about all that. Like, I'm not going to give any advice on that. You know, making sure your business is legit, like
and
set
would
up.
you say even, you know, I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Would you
Go for
say
it.
like, you know, even as an independent contractor, because you're a rental salon?
I was an employee as an independent contractor.
Yeah.
I've been an S Corp since 2014 when I was still a hairstylist.
Yep.
And that helped me get to where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Because I had my personal savings when we were shut down for COVID. Because I opened during COVID. I opened when there
Such
was
a hard time.
I signed my lease when we were still shut down, you know,
Yeah.
but in the back of my
wow.
mind, I knew I'd be okay, right?
That was Hayward.
Oh, wow.
That was
Yeah,
my
so
Hayward
you-
salon.
yeah.
It was rough out there.
Yeah. No, thank you. Yeah. So I've always been an employee of my business. So even now as an owner, I'm still an employee of my business. And that did help me with maternity leave because I know I'm taken care of, but then now I have more energy to pour into the salon because I'm not worried about my personal finances, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, I just would like to state, you know, if you're a rental stylist and you're listening in right now, she's giving, Roni here from Sage+Oak is giving great points as an independent contractor, a booth rental stylist, on how you guys can take time off without breaking your bank so bad. Because I do think this is an uneducated part to rental stylists that they don't even know how to take advantage of. And I think this is really important. So, you know, if you're listening in, maybe you guys need to talk to your taxpayers, your CPAs, whoever is in control of that for you guys, and figure out how to set yourself up for a maternity leave that you're not going to, you know, feel so strapped. Because I think that is a very unspoken topic about.
And that's why I love my mentors, because my 2 mentors are not in our industry. They're just very successful business people that have helped me a lot also. But also you can take personal leave too. If you don't want kids and you know you don't want kids, but you may want leave in the future. I love business. Like business is like where I get excited. So like I love doing hair and stuff, but with opening a salon and doing from business plan, working on my business plan and growing and growing and growing, I fell in love with the business side of our business and how uneducated we are. I mean, I don't have a college degree, but
Neither do I.
yeah. But I know you do your own book. You used to do your own books. You did all of that, and now you outsource it because we talked about that.
Yes, I was crazy. I used to do everything, but now it's nice to have somebody that does.
But you
for me
know your
now.
business.
Yeah.
You can
Oh,
go
yeah,
in there
yeah,
and do your books and know what's going on. They're not blind in that, right?
No, I have everything at the tip of my fingers. Literally, I can pull everything up.
And that's what's good is like you need to know what you're doing, even as an independent contractor, because independent contractors are business owners. You own your business within the salon, but you are your own boss. Yes, you need to like match the culture of the salon, right? Respect the culture of the salon, right? But you are your own boss. So you need to take control of your numbers. You need to take control of how you pay yourself. You can be a sole proprietor, but know what you're paying in taxes, right? And all of that.
Prepare for
Yes.
taxes. We as stylists, they do not prepare for taxes, and you guys need to prepare. And then every year you need to see your income, and you need to talk to a CPA, a professional that's going to guide you. Like, hey, you know what? You're making too much. You need to switch into an LLC. You need to switch into an S corp, a C corp, whatever it can be.
Works for your business and you, and that's where your CPA will help you out, which you actually host classes for your girls, which
We have,
is
yes.
so good.
Yeah, last year we did it. We you know, had a baby and all need to pick back up again. So, yeah,
I love
but
that.
it's very important because I do think that everybody's like, oh, I'll just TurboTax it, do it myself, put those numbers in. Like, you're really shooting yourself in the foot. Like, you need somebody to look those numbers over because guaranteed you probably need to switch.
Well, if you want to own a salon, right? If you can't manage your own self behind the chair as a business owner and run it like you would want to run your salon, how are you going to be ready to run a salon, right? If you can't even run your own self, right?
You're not.
So that's something to look at too.
Yes.
And also, if you don't know how to save your own personal income, how are you going to save enough for like when your AC goes out or when your salon's flooded? Insurance is great, but you're not guaranteed to get a check for that.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that, like, you know, when the air conditioners go out and
Your
stuff,
landlord doesn't pay for
like,
that.
The
that's
water
all,
bowls,
that's all on our
shampoo bowls.
salons, you know, the water bowls, the sinks, the everything, lights, everything. It's on us as the owners. It's not like renting an apartment and you call the landlord to fix it. It's not like that.
Yeah, I just put a new unit in last year just to kind of keep up with the heat wave. So now I have 2 units in. But, you know, you had to plan for that.
Yep.
So,
You do.
yeah.
How do you find a mentor? Like, what is like your first step to find a mentor?
So, how I found my mentors, not old school, but old school. I went down to my library, my local library. They have a little area. I don't know if they have it now, but they might. How I found my mentors was on score.org, and they actually have a business plan on that website where they will help you build your business plan just on the website. It's like like an outline, and you can fill it in yourself, do it yourself. It's a free resource, and score.org has a database of mentors on there, and you can choose whatever you want in your area, 1 or 2, and it's free. So as people like Bree, when you're older and retire, you could be a volunteer mentor on there and mentor young people that want to open a business one day.
Are you kidding
Definitely
me?
up my alley.
If you want to. These are
love
old,
that.
not old, they're not old, they're spunky.
Hey, they're gonna watch this and be like, "Really, Roni?"
I know, my mentors will be like, no,
That's
but
funny.
they're old, they're retired, and they have to they're vetted. So they're very successful business owners that pour into young business owners that want to own a business one day. So I found my 2 mentors on score.org when I was, 23, 24.
I love that.
And
Oh my gosh,
I have
that
2
is
of them.
great information. No one knows this. It's so hard to start.
I didn't know this.
I feel like
love talking to other owners.
Right?
I know,
So people
business
forget
owners.
I
librarians.
found out we're owners right now. We're owners of our own business. Look
Yeah,
at us
well,
go.
I mean, people forget like librarians go to school to do what they're doing. They're very educated people, and they have resources in the area, and they have also too. I don't know if Bree does this or not, but like if you want a grant, there's so much grants out there that you can get them at the library. You can get them at the library. But I found my 2 mentors that I've been working with for years now, probably almost 10 years now, through score.org.
Wow.
But they're not a part of Score anymore. So they're private now. I'm one of 5 of their people. They stepped away because, they like who they have and they don't want to take any more. And they've been stepped away now for about 6 years. But you can find a mentor on there.
If you don't mind me asking, what was the industries that they were in?
Yeah.
One's a lawyer,
Okay, that's
like
great.
law for medical, and he worked with hospitals and Kaiser and like high bigwig. And then the other one is a CPA. He owned a CPA firm. He owned multiple CPA firms. And what's crazy is he's actually blind.
Oh,
But
wow.
he helped me start my QuickBooks, and he knew how to run QuickBooks and has never seen it on the computer.
Oh my god.
And he knew what I was looking at while I was doing it. I was blown away.
This
How?
man is
I don't know.
talented.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he is so talented.
But that's how you know an industry inside and out, right?
Yeah.
No matter how it's done,
That's
it's
inspiring.
just paper to computer. But yeah, so he helped me
Oh,
with
wow.
QuickBooks and taught me all of that.
I kind of love that. Like, your 2 mentors aren't even in the beauty industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I love that.
So they were your mentors from the start to now. Like, did you ever have to I don't know how it works as like a therapist where you kind of like try them out, you see if you like them.
Yeah, no,
you
for
know,
sure.
match.
I knew I liked them instantly.
Oh, really?
They're funny,
Yeah.
sassy, down to earth. They're older, but they are current. They know what's going on. Like, they're also very inclusive. Like, they're very supportive.
Are they like a team or
They used to be a team on
Okay.
score.org, and they developed a friendship, and now they go golfing together.
Oh wow.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah.
Are they local?
Semi-local.
All right.
You don't retire in this area. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
I drive to go see them. But and then I also coaches along the way. I had a really good coach when I opened my salon, and mentors are great for getting you going, seeing the whole picture, bringing your ideas out, right? And just being it's like a coffee date. So mentors are not there to tell you what to do. They're just there to ask questions. It can be 1 step ahead of you or 100 million steps ahead of you. Like, I don't know, they could be like my retired ones or just 1 or 2 steps ahead of you. A mentor is just someone you would have coffee with. No legal advice, no nothing. They just kind of help you. They have connections, they have resources. A coach helps you see your black holes, and they really help you grow. So I've had coaches help me with my salon too. I don't if you have coaches or
Yeah. I feel like you need to have mentors and coaches throughout time, and it helps you grow as a salon.
and coaches you pay for, mentors you do not pay for. You never pay for a mentor. If someone's charging you
Now
as a
you heard
mentor, they're not a mentor. They're a life coach. But there's a difference between life coaching and business coaching also. So know what you're getting into. Mentors are like, I don't know, someone you just like, you would be a mentor to me if we go to coffee because you're so far ahead on like what I would want to learn, right?
And we just sit down and we talk, and then but you're right. That's mentoring. Coaching, you're paying for. So somebody that's gonna maybe get in the real nitty gritty more than just a coffee date. Maybe you're busting out those computers and you're deep diving.
Yeah.
So that your coach is there in the beauty industry?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I had two for a long time, but now I just have one. So, and I love it.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
And what
so
kind of
interesting.
guidance do they share with you, your coach, I guess?
So my one coach I kept, I love her dearly. She's amazing. She does back end business. So the ugly part of your business, like numbers, like how much it costs to do certain things, staying in the numbers. And as a renter going business owner, it's so different. But she also helps me see things that I might not see, like, oh, your back bar should only be 30% or your retail should only be 20% of your profit margins, and breaking that down to understand it. She also talks about culture, how to build a salon culture, like how to do things that you think you know how, but then when they ask you about it, you're kind of like a deer in headlights.
Like how to lead properly.
Yeah,
to
and
actually
she helped.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of that.
Wow.
So that's more niche into the industry. But you can find coaches that are not in our industry that would help you so much.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I kind of want to talk about, so you guys mentioned how you guys met through a class that you held, right? So you said you did this class before your salon even opened. Is this something that your coach asked you, like maybe you should do this, or this was just an idea you
so
had?
another reason why I opened a salon was I wanted to be a salon that brought in top tier education.
Which
And-
you do. I will admire you. You are
Thanks.
hustling on that education vibe.
And
She's
not
having
just-
so many classes and really good classes.
And not just basic classes. Like they're like, I want legit, like if someone wants to find education, I want to be a mecca or like a hub for that. Even though I'm a small salon, I want to prove to people like just because you have a small salon doesn't mean you can't do things, right? So
Correct.
it's all on who you know also, and how you present yourself or how you talk to people. So I hosted a salon class on like Summit, which is a way to run a salon is through like a Summit program. And so other salon owners, so when I opened my salon beforehand, I thought I might wanted to do Summit. And then Nicole Pisani presented it to me and asked if, I would host it. And I said, absolutely. So because I also knew I wanted to host education at my salon, which is why the layout is kind of more open the way it is. I could do a lot more with my space, I'm sure. But I try to keep it open for classes.
Yeah, your space is perfect for classes.
It's thought
and
out.
just because you're little, like, doesn't mean anything. Like, that's when I started, like, with my little first salon. I was just like, we're little, but we're mighty. Like, so I mean, you got to start somewhere, and you are just doing it the best. I think. I feel like your education is like amazing. Like, we should like collab on an education
down.
event soon. Like,
I'm down.
I'll
record
make-
it.
Actually, I have someone I want to come out, but I have to host at least 20 people. And I did a hands-on. I think 15 to 16 is my max that we could do hands-on at my place.
Let's go do it at my salon.
Yeah, so I'll have to talk to you about that.
Yeah, I'm down.
Because when my stylists tell me they want something, I'm like, I'm gonna
Let's do
go
it.
look
Let's
for
go.
it and
You
do
make
it.
it happen.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
How many
So-
chairs do you have?
I have 5.
5. Okay.
Yeah, 5.
What? I need to go in there.
It's so cute.
I know, we need
It's
to
so
do a
cute.
And
field
that's
trip.
one thing with the coach that I have, my business coach. I had a little complex where I'm like, oh, my salon's so tiny, like da da da. Like, you get hard on yourself a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
Because I told you I had a champagne vision. Like I knew what I wanted, right? COVID hit. I got humbled real quick. And I don't like to bring that up, but it does. Like salons got shut down.
Yeah.
It's a humbling experience.
And guess what? Our rent was still due.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
whether like you stylists were in there working or not, like we had to still pay rent.
'Cause-
Yeah.
So it's like, even though it was completely shut down,
Yeah.
we still
The
had to
deep
figure
sigh.
that out.
Yeah,
And that was really hard, but we pulled through
we did.
and we made it.
We did.
And we should be very proud of that, I
Yeah.
think. Like, we got through COVID.
I know. Great job, you guys.
It was
Yeah.
rough out
A
there.
lot of people did. Not a lot of people, but like a lot of salon owners that ran their business,
Yeah.
they struggled, but they survived.
Push through.
And I feel like
Yeah.
if you're like inspiring to be a salon owner, you should also like keep that in mind. Like, there are things that you cannot control, like literally a shutdown. Like, you need to somehow be prepared for something like that.
Also,
too.
walkouts. Salon walkouts are huge. And that's one thing
Huge.
my coach also prepares you for is you can't always control. And a walkout might not be a whole team, but it could be everyone's one person's going to a suite, one person's moving, one person's pregnant, one person's this, and it happens all at once. It's not a walk out, but it feels like it because everyone's kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And you have to be prepared for that also.
Yeah, but you have a solid team. And how long did that take you to build a solid team?
Oh, I was slow. My coach, if she listens to this, she has her own podcast also, but if she listens to this, she'll probably laugh at me, or I don't know. No, give me a hard time. I hired slow.
Okay.
Very slow.
Why?
My mentors were like, just hire people, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to make sure I can afford my business on my own. So if I did have a walkout, I knew deep down my business would survive, because failure is a huge thing. And now with time, I realize failure is not a bad thing. Like if my salon goes under and another door opens, that's what I meant to do, right?
Yeah.
But in the moment of developing my salon, I was so fearful of losing something that you put so much into.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to make sure I can afford it on my own.
It's very smart.
So
It
smart.
is, but also it can also set you back, right? Because mindset should be like, I'm going to hire people to help grow my business. Not it's all me, it's all me, it's all me. Like that's also a level of maturity where I've learned so to go back to it, I didn't hire my first person till I opened in October, my first person in April. So 6 months.
Okay.
But it was a year and a half of me paying rent because I signed my lease in January. I didn't open till October because of build outs and stuff.
Yes.
And
People
then,
don't account for that either. I think that's important too. Is like the build out, you guys, like your landlord would be like, oh, you can do it in 3 months. Like, no, like, especially if the cities get involved, it's so much longer. And you have to be ready for that too, if it takes longer.
Yeah. So they told me, so I learned a lot with this, with my mentors telling me something. But anyways, I learned something I might share in a second. But my construction guy told me it would take me 6 weeks to build out my salon. He called my salon a walk-in closet. It'll be super easy, all the things. I signed a lease January 4th or 5th. I was supposed to be in my salon in April of whatever year that was. I didn't open till that October.
Oh my gosh.
So how long? That's
10 months.
10 months.
And my salon is what, 900 square feet.
Yeah. And you guys,
So,
I think this is really important that you're saying this.
and you pay rent during that time while you're paying for construction.
You pay rent, you pay
And you pay rent for the
construction,
salon you're working at.
And even if that construction man told you it was going to be 3 months and it takes 10,
It takes
you're
10.
still paying everything. Like, I think, and it's what's important too is finding a construction man.
I love my
that-
construction guy.
Yeah.
Even though it took longer, he was a dreamboat. He was
You got to
great.
find one you really like. And I think it's important if they're even in the industry.
Do you really like yours, Brie?
Mine's kind of hot, but yeah.
I was, a little secretly jealous where I'm like, man, she knows someone. She knows someone.
And
But
that's my man. He builds all of them. And so
I love that.
Yeah, and he if you guys need a salon built, that's who you should call. 'Cause he knows how to make it run well.
But I knew you then, but I didn't know you enough to be like, hey, can I hire your man to build this out for me? I didn't know you enough.
Oh my God,
that well
everybody can
yet.
hire my man.
That's so funny.
please hire him.
Yeah, he's really good at it, you know. So there's a lot of behind the walls that we are going to get into in a different episode.
Yes.
So he's going to come on and talk about that
Good.
too.
Yeah. Anyway, so hiring out that. But
What do you think would be like the first step if someone wanted to open a salon? Both of you, like, what do you think is the first thing that they should look into?
business plan.
Business plan?
That's your roadmap. That's
Yeah.
my input.
I think a business plan would be good. I also think that starting small is the best. So just how you said, like, you kind of like maybe had some insecurities that you're like, oh, I have a small salon, That is the smartest thing I firmly believe that you did, because that is exactly how I started too, where you can handle that business all on your own if it goes well or it doesn't, and then you can like flourish
Expand.
on that. And that is what helped me flourish, is starting small.
So, just to kind of, I guess, recap, or if you could give some words of inspiration to someone that is wanting to be a salon owner and look into, joining that kind of business world, what would you give them? What kind of advice would you give?
Depending on where they're at, get experience with the salon you're at. Maybe interview at other salons to get that vibe. Start a business plan to see if you want to put the work in to even own a business. Find a mentor, because coaching can be very expensive. So finding a good mentor, someone you look up to that maybe already owns a salon, grabbing coffee with multiple different salon owners.
Yes.
And also just making sure you know your numbers, because if you can't understand your numbers, it's going to be really hard to run a business. And make yourself legal. If you're a sole proprietor or you don't know what you are, you need to start there, because being an owner as a sole proprietor is very expensive. So you want to make sure that your entity is like correct. So you need to make an education on that. LegalZoom, I like to go to, I send people to legalzoom.com if they don't know where to start. that's a good place to start if you don't know where to go.
Yeah.
Should Bree do that too? I want to know what your advice is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Give your advice.
What's your advice, Bree?
Okay, so very similar to Ronnie's. I think that you need to find a supportive salon to be in, and I would really look at the owner that you really like, that's willing to share with you guys on what it takes to be a salon owner. I'd start there. So that you're in a positive atmosphere. I'd save your money as a rental stylist, and then create the business plan. So now you're a rental stylist, you've got your business plan, you're going well, you're getting good tips from your owner. You're also meeting with other owners to get different opinions, because we're very similar, but we can have very different also ideas too for them. And then once you have that business plan and you're going well with that, then I would look into finding a small space. So write it out where you're at, learn a lot, and then go into a small salon that you find. And then that's great because the overhead will be lower for you. And then you can start your team, because honestly too, the way I looked at opening my small salon is like, okay, well, if it just doesn't make it, then it's okay. Like, it's small. It's not too much of a cookie I'm biting off. And I kind of like played it like that, right? And then I was like, oh, wait, I really liked it. And then from your small salon, you can flourish bigger,
Or you might get in and hate it.
Or you might hate it. And then it's, guess what? It's not that hard to like close it down or whatever and then go back into rental. It's easy.
And that's not failure. That's learning about yourself. And that's
true.
life.
Yeah, because it really does take like a certain, I feel like, personality to
mindset.
own. And mindset. Yeah, mindset too. But because like we deal with a million personalities all the time, and like you kind of have to be like really level-headed and not be so aggressive.
Yeah.
Because, your stylist, you might have somebody that is really expressive. You might have a sensitive one. You might have an outspoken one. You might have all these different personalities. And, like, you as the owner need to know how to, like, address all of them and, like, kind of be able to, like, relate to them, too, sometimes. Because I think we have the bonus of being a stylist with them next to them. That's huge, too, right? So, like, not everybody is made to be a salon owner, And I do think that some people think they are built for it, and then like you said, they try it, and then if it doesn't work out, it's okay. Like, it's so okay.
There's so much more out there in our industry. Our industry has so much education, travel. Like, there's so much you can do.
Yeah, like maybe if you're not a salon owner, maybe you want to go the educational route. Maybe you're like, you know what? There's just so many routes, like you said. So I just feel like it's never failure if it doesn't work out. It's all learning curves. We talked about this before we got in the room. Like, as owners, we've learned so many times. Like, we've done some like mess ups. We've done some positives, and you just have to keep moving forward and have a positive mindset. And I think having a positive partner is really huge.
Huge. My husband is literally a saint.
Yeah,
I married up.
Yeah. No, same.
He's handy too. He's done a lot in the salon, but
that's huge. So
yeah.
I do think having like a positive
but
partner.
I made this plan before meeting him, so he was not part of my plan. He came later, but
But that's perfect. But I do think having a positive partner matters, because sometimes, like, as salon owners that are women, like, it gets intimidating to have like to your partner, like, oh wow, she's kind of like not powerful, but like, wow, she's
maybe
doing
the breadwinner,
or whatever. And I think that is like can be so intimidating sometimes. And I think having that positive partner that's literally there to cheer you on and wants to see you succeed, I think that's huge. So I feel like, shout out to our men. Right. They're awesome. They build them. They do everything.
It's amazing.
And, they're the guys behind the scenes, and I think that they don't get enough credit.
They don't get any credit
too, because because even though like the girls, the boys, whoever, the stylists are telling us this is broken, that is broken, this one out, that one out. Half the time our men are going in there working OT.
And they just come back and it's fixed.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, cool.
Yeah, and they're like, oh my God, Ronnie is the best, and you're like, dang, but my husband was there till really late fixing things. So I think they don't get enough credit too. Owning a salon is a lot, and it's a lot on our whole families, so
another
work
thing
never stops.
Another thing I wanted to talk about that I did before owning was I really learned about myself. When you said something about like with a partner, I really did dive deep on learning like what triggers me, what makes me upset, how I respond, because I didn't want someone to like piss me off in the moment and I flash respond and not know why. Like, I made sure to really like learn about myself, and because how someone reacts to you and you react to them, like, you want to make sure like you're a strong leader, but also a gentle leader too. Like, you don't want to be aggressive, right?
Yes.
And so I can be very passionate too. And so I just learn about myself, my personality type, love languages, all of that. And when I hire people on, I ask them like, are you comfortable doing a love language test, your Enneagram test, like their personality, because it helps me lead them better if I know if they're more sensitive or if they are a leader. Because I have 2 people that are leaders. You know, how do you lead a leader? You know, especially when they're younger than you. So not younger than you, but experience wise, right? They're not where I'm at right now. Anyways, so, and then their love language. So if you give someone a raise, that's great, right? Money's great. But what if words of affirmation really fuels their fire? Money's great, but what if like sending them praise is better, or they like gifts, getting them a card, like, you know what I mean? So I really make sure I learned about myself first before leading other people. But then also in my salon, I really don't want to bring someone on board that isn't okay learning and growing about themselves, or not like wanting to take, I mean, they don't have to take the test. It's optional, right? But everyone I've hired is like, yes, I want to know. I want to know. And it's nice.
So smart. I've never,
especially with assistants.
I love that.
Because they're with you for such a short window of time. By the time they move on, or a co-artist, I call mine co-artists because they're not below me. They're going to be right next to me, right? They're with you for such a short window of time. By the time they leave, you finally learn all of that about them, right? So if I can learn that beforehand, I can communicate better. Because some personality types can't stand there and watch you. They will go freaking crazy. Like they just can't. But if you know that ahead of time, you can plan as a leader. Okay, this person can't watch me do a haircut. They're going to go crazy. So later on, I'm just going to have them mirror me on a doll head or something like that, right?
That's amazing.
But also praise. So
I have a question. What tools, or how did you find the tools to become a leader in that way and have like that, like to learn about yourself and grow? What tools did you use to kind of do that?
Books. Also, my dad is a health coach, so he has a lot of resources. But there's a company called RTI Intuit, an institution. They do like the Enneagram test, but also, I don't know, I just think it's valuable. I don't know how to reading books, and they teach you about yourself. I'm trying to think of books I've read that taught me that, because I've read so many, but I just think there's also was like a movement years ago too about like learning about yourself, personal growth. And that personal growth, right? Yeah. That's kind of woo woo for me. But for me personally, like I wanted to be a leader, but I didn't want to be just like a leader. I wanted to be like a gentle leader. I wanted to be like an inspirational leader. So with that, I wanted to learn like what inspired me and like what helps me grow. So my coaches for sure helped me in that, and my mentors too, for sure. But the love language things I learned as a kid. I've always wanted to know my friends' love language so I can be a better friend. So I just brought that into the salon. And then I'm really big on personality types, and Enneagrams is something that I like. There's also human design. My business coach is huge on human design. But yeah, just
cool. I was just curious,
if you had any
specific recommendations for somebody that's wanting those leadership skills.
Definitely. Let me think here. So I would recommend learning about your personality type first, because then you can learn what type of leader you are. So if you are like a challenger, you're more of like an aggressive leader. But if you don't want to be an aggressive leader, you can learn like how not to be. Yeah. So you can also, we all have, what's the word? We all have like levels of like what we're passionate about, right? There's love of learning, love of language, love of art, love of like sports, love of all these things. Everyone has their own. And learning what that is, you can always change those too. So
because getting to know yourself is like the best way to actually help others.
And sometimes you think you know yourself, but you really don't. Like you're not in tune. Yeah.
And I do think sometimes like, you know, you can kind of see a leader even at a young age. Like, in kids and stuff, and like growing, and like like you can kind of like spot it.
Ellie.
No, for sure. That's what I'm saying. Daughter. Like people are natural born leaders. And so how do you lead someone who's a natural born leader? You need to like understand who you are as a person. Yeah.
And I do think like having a gentle approach as a salon owner is huge. Especially because of all the different personalities.
And our industry is so passionate.
So passionate. So passionate.
Yeah.
Well, I absolutely love all the insight you both have shared. I mean, so many like great details about how to get started in the industry, you know, what the process looks like, where people can go to like find resources to do all of that. Is there any kind of, I guess, things that we can look forward to that you want to share about your salon, or things coming up, you know, that you kind of want to let people know about, like goals that you have for your future salon, and we can kind of, you know, sum it up that way?
Sure. I would like to attract a couple more stylists, of course, as every salon owner would, right? This next year, I have in mind of some other classes I want to host. This year, my goal was to host 3 pretty big names in the industry, and I did. So next year, I'm going to...
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
pretty excited about that because, you know, you're small, right? So it's like, I don't know, I was pretty proud about that. So next year, I want to do 4. So I'm already started that, and I don't know, just keep growing. I kind of want to be almost busting at the seams before I expand. I would like to expand in the future. Yeah. Not like huge, but you know, everyone wants to grow, right? I don't want to get too big because sometimes when you grow, like you can also go downhill. Like if you aren't ready for it.
Too big.
That's true.
You've got a good plan though.
Yeah, but I'm going to I want to hire a few more co-artists in the future. So people working alongside me. So if you do want to own a salon in the future and you do hair.
Hit her up
Sage+Oak is hiring
on Instagram.
Yeah. I'm Roni, hairstylist. If you want to follow me personally and reach out personally. So, because sometimes other people can check the Instagram on the salon page. So,
Yeah.
Is yours the same way?
Yeah. I think sometimes we don't know who's responsible.
Yeah, I know.
We all have access.
But I think this is a great episode. I feel like we could talk for hours. I think
I
we have
know,
like so much.
literally.
Maybe we need like a part 2 next
This
year.
went by
or
so
something.
fast. Well, I also have
know.
never been on a podcast before. So I'm like, okay, let's see how
You
this
did an
goes.
Oh my
excellent
gosh,
job.
I'm gonna watch this back and be like, dang.
You're a natural born
I need to make my
podcaster.
own
You're sweet. You're sweet.
Next up is your own podcast.
But yeah, if you are in the industry, you're curious about some tips and tricks of salon owning, we've got some great even tax advice that we gave. We're not tax people, but we gave some advice on that. If you are looking, you know, if you're just looking to become a salon owner, I think this is a great listen in to 2 salon owners. Roni here has been open for 3 years. I think I'm going on 8 years. So we're young. And we're inspired and we're motivated and we're new moms too. So
That's a whole other beast.
that is a whole other beast. So listen in to our episode.
Any last words of advice for someone wanting to open? Just inspiration.
I think just do it,
Go, girl.
but don't be nervous. Ask questions, even the hard questions. And always be open-minded.
Yes. Always be willing to pivot. Don't be set in what you're doing.
And like, you got this.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So.
Perfect.
Well, thank you for being on
Salon After Hours.